Fine Time is about to blow your mind.
Hello, Darksiders people. It's your boy Dre, and I am here with Thrak from the Dark Side. How about that shit?
People party, hello.
Are you going to come to my people party? Where there's
I like
people?
For a split second you forgot my name.
No, okay, here's what happened. Here's what happened. Full disclosure.
I'm just teasing you.
I wanted to say, here's my Darksider Thrak, but then I decided to flip it, right? So I was like,
That's okay.
I got caught up in the air, okay?
That's okay. You're fine.
Okay.
I
didn't forget.
So.
Yeah.
We're here. We're back talking about games again.
We are going to talk about the entire Darksiders series.
Hopefully, there's no racism here.
Oh no, I feel like we won't get to part 3, and I'll have to say the N-word again on the air several times. No, I think Darksiders is going to stay away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
no Darksiders Infinite here.
Not that kind of dark.
Good night, everybody. I love it. No, we're gonna talk about them all. I don't know exactly how these are going to air as of this recording, but hopefully you're going to hear these in 4 weeks in a row. This Darksiders 2, Darksiders 3, and then Darksiders Genesis. That is the plan right now, and hopefully we will complete that plan. I hope so, but I'm saying this just as a contingency plan, just in case, Sorry if it's a land of confusion.
Yes. But we will have the invisible touch and show that we can't dance. Sorry, I had to make the Genesis references.
I am not a fan of Phil Collins' voice. It really bothers me. But I think he is a great songwriter and especially producer, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So I really appreciate the music and the songs. I just can't really listen to them that often because I just don't like his voice.
Do you like Peter Gabriel's voice?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He has a more weirder voice than Phil, I think.
And he makes weirder rockier music, it's kind of, it's
Phil
more
Collins
my thing.
Phil Collins is not going to talk about shocking monkeys.
No.
Or he'd write a song about called "The Family in the Fishing Net." It's all about getting married. But
can you imagine Phil Collins singing, Games Without Frontiers or something? I just don't see that at all, right?
No,
that's not happening.
But, even Phil has talked about how in Genesis when they would do the Tony lyrics, kind of the wackier stuff, like sheets of double glazing help to keep outside the night. Only foreign city sirens can cut through. Phil's like, I can't relate to that. Doesn't mean anything to me.
That's just not him. That's just not.
But he does it well. My favorite Genesis song is probably One for the Vine. And that's a song about like Christ-like figures and sort of the repetition of them. And it's not a song Phil would write, but I think he does a fantastic job with it.
What's the Genesis song with the maybe it's more than one, with the Earth, Wind, and Fire horns?
Oh, the horns? I think there's only 2 Genesis songs that have horns in them.
Paperweight?
Oh, Paperlate, but that was a B-side.
Right. But there's
also No Reply at All and Anything She
No
Does.
Reply at All. Right, that was kind of I love Paperlate. So how did we just got them as B-sides to singles then, like Paperlate?
In the States they did Paperlate, and you might recall as like a single, like
double
an album single.
Yeah,
because EPs were never big here. So and Phil Collins always hated the song Me and Virgil. I think it's fine.
It's okay. It's
fine.
Okay. But Paperlate was my jam.
Paperlate's
Paperlate
great.
is not. They did not start playing that in Darksiders. Thankfully, that would have been very inappropriate.
Yeah. And the title Paperlate is a reference to Dancing with the Moonlit Knight on Selling England by the Pound, because Peter Gabriel says it. Paperlate, cried the voice in the crowd.
I like.
Sorry, this is the Genesis podcast. I'm just going to go
good night,
on and
everybody.
on.
We are going. Thank you for joining us for Genesis chat. We are going back to Darksiders chat now.
I'll give you a history of Mike Rutherford's bass guitars.
No, thank you.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, man. Darksiders, we're here. I guess maybe. Okay, let's just start here. Why are we playing these? Maybe because we know why when we did this last year or earlier this year, however this is going to air, we did the BioShock trilogy, and we knew why we wanted to play those. It's fucking BioShock, right? They didn't really need a whole lot of explanation. Why are we doing Darksiders right now?
Why not?
Yep.
Well, the thing is, when we decided to do this, Darksiders 4 had not been announced yet at the THQ Nordic showcase. But when that happened, I was like, oh, it kind of sinks in. It's like, oh, Darksiders 4, that looks really cool, right? So, and it's like, might as well finally give these a try. I bought these games years ago because I think it was on Xbox. They had a deal where you could get the first 3 games and a bunch of the DLC for like $20. And I was like, sold. Give me all that.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom. So, and I've always heard about these games, like when they came out, because they were, in some ways, they were seen as like going to save THQ. Or I think that was kind of the idea, because the original Darksiders was published by THQ back in like 2010 or something, and this is when THQ were not in a good place. Like they were still publishing the wrestling games, and those are doing okay, but like the licensed games that they were doing were starting to fall off by that point. And then they put all their money in that U-Draw tablet. You remember that thing?
Oh Lord, I forgot about that shit.
Oh yeah, and they put a lot of money into that being a success, and it was not.
No, it was not.
Yeah, so that's why we kind of end up where we are now with Darksiders, where they're like, oh, we have this like dark fantasy action adventure-y kind of thing in the works. And that's still like really popular right now because it's based on some popular franchises, the way it's like structured and everything. So they're like, maybe this will help get us out of the hole. No, it didn't.
Unfortunately.
Despite Darksiders retaining a fan base still to this day, I mean, it's still getting games, right? It was never really the big thing. It was, I think THQ kind of wanted it to be like their big AAA franchise.
Well, this is the era where publishers start putting out stuff and they just expect, hey, this is going to sell 10 million copies and shit. Like, this is where the expectations start getting crazy, right?
But I think those expectations are put on Darksiders not because of the game, but because of THQ's poor business decisions.
Of course, they needed that. They needed it to be that big. And something like this is not going to be that big. It's going to be popular, but not like that.
As far as I know, like, it reviewed well at the time, sold about 1 million plus.
Yeah,
not bad at all, but not enough. Not what they needed. Unfortunately,
you're not going to save a company with Pikmin or something, right? Like it's just not going to happen. That's not what you need.
Nintendo's in the shitter, and they're like, okay, this is what's going to save us: the new F-Zero game everybody wants.
It's like, nope.
I mean, I'm there, but there's not enough of me or Steve to buy that. So
yeah, this is not. I don't want to turn this into shitting on Nintendo fans. I save that for the big deal. But like,
yeah. I'm here all day for that.
That's the thing. I always keep coming back to whenever people keep begging for F-Zero, and I'm like, please go look up how much F-Zero GX sold, please.
It didn't sell that bad, though.
It didn't sell terrible, right? But it wasn't that good. And then, like, the last couple GBA games, we didn't even get the last one. It stayed in Japan, right? So it's like, you guys got to realize, like, this kind of hit the skids. Like, there's a reason why we don't have anymore. Like,
yeah, it's a shame, but I mean, they still keep doing Star Fox, and it's not like Star Fox sells that much better.
I think we're never seeing a Star Fox again.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them to do another one. I really wouldn't.
I think it's done, dude. I would love to be wrong, but
Nintendo is full of surprises. That's why
it's been 8 years
count.
since Zero, and we haven't even seen a fucking sniff of Star Fox.
I think Kamiya said that they should do like a remaster of it, and I'm like, that ain't happening. That's back when he was still at Platinum, I think. He said we should go back and do that.
That's my number one wish for a remake is the original Star Fox, the original graphics at like 8 billion K and 120 frames a second or whatever, the original ass Star Fox graphics, because I think there's a look to that shit. I still think that's like appealing. So like if they were to like put that in full res at a frame rate that isn't single digits for the first time ever, like, I think that I would like that. I don't know if that would appeal to the larger market, but that would be something to me that would be fascinating.
I feel like that's more of like a fan game idea than something Nintendo would do.
I think so.
It would come out, people would like it, it would get an immediate cease and desist, and then the official page would get taken down. but you can still play it.
But Nintendo would release it themselves, of course.
If only. Yeah, where's where's AM2R on my Switch?
Oh, please. I've never played that, and I
haven't either. I'm curious to.
I really wanted to play Darksiders just because of the things I've heard about it. Not that I heard, oh, these are so good. It's because I heard so many things about it that I thought were interesting. First of all, and I'm sure you've heard this too, people always compare it to Zelda. Oh, this is like a dark fantasy Zelda. And me personally, I always think it's weird when anybody calls anything Zelda, because I myself think almost nothing is like Zelda. Zelda to me is like this very, very specific, unique blend of like adventure and action and RPG, and these things blended into like to become Zelda. And so I like, how many games are actually like Zelda? Star Fox Adventures, Utopia. Like, I don't really think there's that many Zelda likes out there. So the fact that people were calling Darksiders one, I was like, okay, I wonder how true that is.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get into it when we get further in, but I think it's closer to a Zelda than we'd expect, because it's like, there's a lot of games, it's like nothing is like Zelda, but it has a very clear formula that a lot of games have tapped into. Maybe not exactly 100%, but it's a recognizable formula that when people say that, you kind of go, oh, I know what I'm roughly getting into with this, you know. But Darksiders does differ in a lot of ways, and not just in like the look and everything. So because honestly, it looks like if like Zelda was made by like Dark Horse Comics.
Yep.
You know, like that Dark Source Image era, because so the game was developed by Visual Games, which was formed in like 2005 by two guys, David Adams, who's just like, he just makes games. I don't know. You look at a picture of him and he
he's
looks
a game
like
guy.
And then the other guy is Joe Madureira. I can't say that. last name. I'm too white. I'm sorry. I can't say that. But Joe, he's often called Joe Mad. I'm gonna call him Joe Mad.
Joe Mad.
So
okay.
Joe Mad, he's a comic book, artist. He's worked on like Uncanny X-Men. He has his own series called Battle Chasers. Darksiders itself has become a comic over the years. So he does have a bit of a pedigree in the comic book world. He's also done stuff with like Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man over the years. So, he's not like a huge name in the comic book world, but he's done fairly well
recognize
for
the
himself.
name when you said Joe Mad. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
So.
and it does explain the art direction, because it's a very like 90s comic book where it's like, big burly guys with giant shoulders and like very, it's not Rob Liefeld crazy, but like it's definitely that like 90s era as far as like everything is created, but it gives it a look, like a unique, distinguishable look. And I guess Visual Games was made to just sort of, make a game like this. And they weren't initially owned by THQ, but they were formed in like 2005, and then THQ acquired them in 2006. So it was just kind of like a short little thing. So yeah. And as far as development history goes, that's really all I could find.
Okay.
So they just wanted to make a game. Yeah.
Yeah. They made the damn thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I had any real expectations going in about like how good this would be, but I think part of like another reason why I wanted to play these is because I specifically didn't have like a burning desire. BioShock, I really wanted to play. That's something I've always wanted to play. Darksiders was not like that. Darksiders was like, okay, that seems interesting. Sure, let's try it. I wanted to do something outside of my view that way a little bit, and not something I'm just like, oh, this is something I always wanted to play, where I have these like built up expectations. This was just more of a curiosity to me, especially since, like, as I've said several times on the show, and probably said during BioShock, this like PS3 360 generation is like my least favorite. That doesn't mean that I didn't love games in this era or anything. It's just that like it has my least favorite amount of games. So I'm thinking like, okay, this is something from the era I never explored. So let's try it. Maybe I'll find something else.
And I'm similar, but also I knew people who were fans of the series, and they're like, oh, these are really good games. You should, give them a shot, right? And I'd always heard them described as video games. Oh, yeah. And honestly, that always sounds appealing to me, because especially by the PS3 360 era, we were still getting some of those, but they were starting to go away. Mm-hmm. Like, I love the the PS360 gen for me personally, just because of our age gap. I was a lot younger then, and that's really when I like got fully immersed in like a current generation of gaming, because I had a 360 early, was renting games all the time, looking at magazines, looking at early website, trying to load game trailers, which would take forever, that kind of stuff. And I was just really interested in all the stuff that was happening at the time. So, and the 360 was kind of that era where you could tell the technology was starting to catch up a little bit with some of these developers' intentions of doing more cinematic, immersive experiences, man. Like, the tech was catching up. It still wasn't there. And I think it's surprising to me anyway, how much the games from that generation have aged, but also like not as bad as you'd think. Maybe it's just like graphically, it's like, oh, we've kind of gone pretty far as like technology is concerned. But if you think about it from like a game design perspective, we haven't evolved that much from the 360 era.
I don't think we make any games like Darksiders nowadays. I feel like this sort of design has been, I don't want to say completely thrown out the window, but it's definitely, we're not doing this right now.
The closest thing I could compare it to is South of Midnight, which is a recent Xbox game. Because it had, some friends of mine said, oh, this is like Darksiders. And then when I played that, and I liked it for what it was, and then I went back and played Darksiders, I go, I see the comparison, because it's that kind of like hack and slashy combat that's bordering on character action, but it's really not, because it feels like combat these days, it either has to be like crazy character action or it's just nothing. Right?
Yeah.
But as far as like game design, like, to slightly promote Thrak Ops, is if you look at like the Call of Duty games from the 360 era and then compare them to now, they're not that different. They kind of play the fucking same, which is fine. Like, they kind of figured it out pretty early, I think, and they've just been refining it over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some things don't really need to change. Is Mario 64 that different from Mario Odyssey? Not really. Obviously, like, the controls are much more refined, and like the focus of the game is different, because you're not doing the level, sort of quote unquote level by level affair of like, you get the star and then you try again and you do a different task versus like, here are all the stuff. I get it that way, but like the core game, the core like level design, and here are these things to do and these things to find and whatever, that has not changed at all.
Yeah. It feels like if they were to do Mario 64 now, it would be in the vein of like an Odyssey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is a bit unfortunate. I do like the sort of like, the setup of it, of like, okay, you go back to the level again and these things are different and these things are there before that were not there before, because now you're on a different star. I do think there is something to that. But like, yeah, for the most part, Darksiders isn't anything surprising like that in terms of like design, but that's fine, because it's this sort of, and I think, yeah, as we get into like overall thoughts here before we really start talking about the game, I think that's why I liked it so much. And I'm surprised I liked it so much. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
I felt you would.
Yeah, I was really into this because I think you know me. I like video game video games. That is for me.
Yes. If I've learned anything about your taste, you are less story and more gameplay focused. Especially with your hilarious Undertale review, which I loved it so much, because it didn't surprise me at all that there would be things about this game you're like, this is fucking stupid, I hate this goddamn bullshit. But I knew you would like the combat because it was unique and different and really rewarding to play. And I feel like that's just the kind of games you like, are the ones that are more gameplay focused, and it's just like, shut up and let me play. Right.
That's all I want.
And to some ways I'm like that as well. I do like a good story, but I have to like go in knowing it's going to be more story focused and I can hang, like it's how I enjoy the Yakuza games, where when I go in, I'm like, there's going to be a lot of talking. It's a lot of story, but when I get there, I'll be fine.
Well,
you know?
yeah, I mean, but you also know me too. I'm a JRPG fiend, right?
Yeah.
Or I love stuff where there's a bunch of story too, or even
Yeah.
weird shit
I'm not
like
saying
a Killer
you hate
7.
story,
I do,
but
yeah, I'm pretty when it comes to games like that where you're playing like active, like I am gameplay first, and Darksiders does give me that. So yeah, I'm surprised at how much I liked it overall. Before we get into it, what did you think? Just a global.
I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty fun. I think I would have liked it more had I played it when it was new at the time, because I think it would have hit my tastes more being in like high school.
Okay.
But I did like it. And everyone said, "Oh, it's like Zelda with a little bit of God of War and blah 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 blah." I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I got out of it." It was kind of refreshing to play a game where I kind of knew what it was going in, and that's exactly what it was. And it wasn't trying to be this crazy ambitious thing or try to do anything. It wasn't trying to like push boundaries or be groundbreaking. It was just like, oh, here's a fun game. Just go play it. And I feel like these days in that kind of space, we don't get a lot of that. It feels like since like the PS4 era, a lot of games are trying to be this revolutionary new groundbreaking thing. And it's like, you don't have to do that. Like, it's okay if a game, or like games will get hits on review scores if it doesn't break ground. It's like, it doesn't need to. If it's fun, it's fun. Who cares?
Well, yeah, and I think that's something that like the indie market has. I don't know why these big publishers just haven't taken the cue of like, hey, maybe nobody wants to fucking play like Homefront Revolution or whatever. Like, I just don't understand why they're making this thing. It's like, do you think anyone actually wants to play this thing that costs $1 zillion and it's going to sell $500,000 at the most?
I think the problem with the AAA ones these days is that they're so corporatized and like they're stockholders and all this other bullshit that I think they get in the way of the game developers just making a game. Like a game like Silk Song, right? Regardless of what people think about it, if that was done by like a big publisher, it wouldn't be the success that it is.
No,
it wouldn't be.
But they're also just too scared to just. Why don't they just look at like Vampire Survivors or something and just see why people like that and be like, I'm not saying they have to make a game exactly like that, but at the same time, it's like, do they just take any cues from anything around them at all? Or are they studying their environment? Like, hey, maybe we don't always have to, it doesn't have to be
They
this
just want to
way.
make money. They just look at Fortnite and go, we should do that.
But if if like EA had their own Vampire Survivors, they'd make $10 zillion. Like, I don't
probably.
And
make it Dead Space themed.
And look, I don't even like Vampire Survivors that much, right?
I don't either. I think it
sucks. I'm just using that as an example of something people like, and I just don't see why they don't see that sometimes.
To me, it's like in the AAA space, there's really one company that is still being creative and successful and, putting themselves in that spot, and that's Remedy. I think Remedy has been killing it recently. You may not be the biggest Remedy fan, but like, I get it. Control's not your thing, but like,
no. I really liked Alan Wake 2, though, despite my
Alan
issues.
Wake 2 is great.
Despite my issues.
But Remedy is one of those companies where I'm like, if a big publisher tried to mess up, would try to like put their hand in there, it wouldn't work.
Alan Wake 2, oh my God. Can you imagine Alan Wake 2 with like EA getting their fucking mitts in there and their fucking corporate? I mean, it'd be fucking terrible.
Exactly.
Dude. Oh my God.
But like a Darksiders, I just don't see a game like this getting made ever again. I mean, we're still getting Darksiders. That's because it already has the pedigree and the fan base. But like, if like, I mean, I could weirdly see an indie game trying to do this.
I can.
Well, like Hell Is Us is kind of that. I've been hearing.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And South of Midnight wasn't like a big budget game either.
No, but it was a first party Xbox game.
Of
course, it was being done by they did We Happy Few. I can't remember their name. Off
Compulsion.
Compulsion. Thank you. Yeah. And I liked it.
I liked everything about South of Midnight except the combat. I just did not like the combat.
I thought the combat was fine.
I did not like it at all. But it was it was brief and it wasn't too annoying. And like everything else in the game,
the story
I really
was
liked.
Great. I love the aesthetic. Like you can tell they did their homework.
Every character was fantastic.
It was better than Ken Levine's writing, huh?
Oh yeah,
they can write black people.
Oh yeah. Well, he's afraid to even speak to a black person. He's afraid to have his fake characters even speak to each other. So this game's going for it.
I know you're looking forward to Judas.
Oh yeah, we gotta play that game. We should play that shit.
Yeah, I'm down.
if you have anything to say about the like general story of Darksiders, go for it. I don't really. I mean, it's the four horsemen of the apocalypse. It's the story we know. So it's like, you know.
So I think how it works is that it's like, oh, there's heaven, there's hell. They don't like each other. They make like a realm in the middle or something, and then that realm goes to shit, and then heaven and hell both are blaming War, who is who we play as in this game. The horseman we play as War, they're blaming him for it, and he's like, no, this wasn't me, it was that guy or somebody.
It wasn't me.
And then they're like, yeah, basically the Shaggy defense. And then so they give War a chance to, you know, prove his innocence, and that's basically what happens. That's the game. And then you go through, you go to the different realms, you fight the bosses, you get the new items, and then, you know, you defeat the big bad, and yeah, you're free. They're like, okay, you're innocent, bub. It's very basic. It's very kind of run of the mill, but I think it's fine because the writing isn't terrible. It's very comic book. You know what I mean? Like, it just has that kind of level of quality to it.
It is like Zelda in the sense that, like, it's less of a story more than it is a premise. Here is the premise of the game.
Here's
and
the
why
reason
you're doing
what you're doing.
And that's it. Then you just go and do it.
And I think and I think that's fine. You know, it allows you to kind of shut your brain off a little bit.
Yeah, and you just kind of think about everything else. We eat with our eyes first, of course. So let's talk about graphics and art style. We already have a little bit, obviously, because of its comic book people roots. But like, and you were talking about like the 90s comic book style of like the, you know, the big shoulders, and the
broad shoulders.
Yeah. But like, also
the abs have abs.
Oh yeah. But that look also became the look of this generation with like WoW or Gears of War or whatever, like that kind of like
that kind of
squatty
kind
of
look.
squared look, you know, like WoW obviously has like the armor, the big pauldrons and like the big whatever, and then Gears of War has like the big meathead ass like very like gray and brown. That was kind of like the beginning of that. And Darksiders, I feel like, splits a difference between those things. It is very 2010. Like,
very,
and it has some 2010 ass geometry too. I get it. You can't help it because that's when the game came out, but like, it sure looks, man, we use a lot more triangles now. You know, it's funny, like people like since that generation rather, like polygon counts and stuff became less and less of a feature more than like other stuff about the hardware, but polygons still matter, man. And you can see it in these. You can really see it.
But game designers these days aren't going to say our game has over 2.3 million polygons.
No,
it's like,
they're not going to say that shit.
Nobody fucking cares. There's a reason we got rid of bits in the Dreamcast era. Like, once the number gets too big, it's like, we don't care anymore.
It doesn't matter.
No.
But again, also, even with like PS5, that was the first thing, like when I played, you know, the Demon Souls remake or whatever else is made, I was like, oh shit. You know, because like, again, it's not something we talk about anymore, but like you can see the geometry. You know, you can. So, but yeah, I definitely, the geometry will poke you in the eye when you play Darksiders. But it's fine. It's what games look like back then, for better or worse, you know?
Oh, yeah. It was just kind of that era where the tech was getting better. It was, but you know, and I think it shows that like the leap to PS4 is a little bit bigger than we remember, you know? So
yeah, and also like some of the character designs are also just their faces and like their hair and stuff is just so fucking like, it is so 2010, and like in a good way. I think it's like one of the better things about this era. It almost looks like they could be in a like, what's a good example? If like Disturbed made like animated videos or something like that, like it would look like, you know what I mean? It would look like that.
Yeah. In fact, War looks a little bit like the Disturbed guy.
Oh, like their mascot, like their like glowing eye
I'm sure it has a name. I don't know.
I used to be hella into Disturbed. I should know that thing's name, and I don't. So
yeah. I mean, I was into him for a while as well, but you know,
the first 3 records, I was like, I was on that shit.
Oh yeah. Good shit.
I was really basically
their 4th album was my favorite.
I didn't like it as much. I did not
That's
like it
fair.
as much.
That's
The
fair.
fifth one I liked a lot more, but the fourth
Yeah,
one was
it's
like
pretty
my
good.
least
Yeah.
favorite.
But-
But 10,000 Fists was my favorite one.
I do hate their Genesis cover, but
like,
that's another topic.
like just like the winged lady, I forget her name, but like the angel lady and like her helpers, they look straight off of like a Voodoo 3D FX box or something like that. From like, you know what I mean? It has that look to it.
Yeah. In some ways, it's not really a direct comparison, but I feel like I think it was the same year or around it. It's like Darksiders is comparable to Bayonetta in some ways.
It came out basically about the same time. Bayonetta, here anyway.
Bayonetta was
Bayonetta came out
09?
here. Here it came out February 2010.
Okay. Yeah.
So pretty much within a month of each other.
Yeah, and Bayonetta flew completely under my radar. I actually didn't know about Bayonetta until Smash Brothers.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely flew under my radar.
By the way, I don't know how important this is, but like for the purposes of this podcast, we did play the remastered version of Darksiders that came out in like 2017 for like PS4
the War
and
Mastered
Xbone. Yeah. Oh, that's right. See, I was gonna say Death Definitive, but that's Darksiders.
That's
2.
Darksiders 2. Yeah.
So
I love both of them because, like, I think they recognize the whole thing is a little cheesy, but you know, it's kind of done with a wink and a nod where it's like, yeah, we know, but like, it's like pro wrestling. You just meet us halfway and it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll work with you. Did you think the environments got a little too like 360 brown, a little too much sometimes, or like?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was more colorful than I had anticipated it being. But yes, after a while, it's kind of like they started to blend in together. And I feel like they don't do all the varying biomes, right? I think the most biome we get is like the desert area.
Yeah. There's also that one sort of like swampy area too, where it has like some green and like you can go underwater and
there's like that building right in the middle of it. That's like kind of half in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's that. But like other than that, it's not really like, God, you know, that's also a thing that's, again, dictated by the hardware. You can't do anything about this. But like the fact that this game is so segmented and like here are these like very small areas that make this like big world.
With the hub world. Yeah, that's very Zelda.
Yeah, we don't have loading anymore to like the point where like we would just connect all these things naturally now.
Yeah.
But like back then you had to do it this way.
Yeah, but I think that's where the Zelda influence comes from because it's like, you know, the Hyrule Field and you keep going into your branching paths kind of thing. But
I think just in like the general gameplay sense, I think it was just really funny seeing War, big meaty man doing adventure things.
Yeah, like a big guy like solving puzzles and shit.
Yeah. He's pushing blocks. He's double jumping. He's climbing walls. He's shimmying across pipes and shit. He swims like a fucking fish. I mean, he swims better than like most characters I've ever seen.
I mean, I could believe it.
It's wild. I guess it's just funny overall because like, you know how this era was. Like it kind of feels like, here's Prince of Persia for toxic masculinity or something. Like
like that. A little like Uncharted, maybe a teeny bit of Tomb Raider in there.
Yeah.
You know, because those are going on around the same time, and they're like, oh, we need to have, you know, the fun platformy kind of bits. You know. Yeah,
it's like it's just kind of like with all that stuff, and just kind of like here's Zelda, but not for fucking babies. This is for men, right? Like that type of shit.
Yeah, I don't know if this game was advertised like that.
I feel like it was.
Yeah, I could imagine some of the fan base feels that way about where they're just like, yeah, Zelda's too much of like a priss, like gay dude with like a green hat or whatever. This is like a big strong man. I'm like, you like big strong men, huh?
Mm-hmm. You don't want that twink link. Twink link. Twink link. I can't be the first one to say that, right?
Oh, like, there's a twink in my link.
Twinkle in my linkle.
You're probably not the first, no.
Going along with that thought, though, I also thought it was really funny that the game seemed afraid of saying your weapons are like leveling up. It seems like this game hid all like the numbers from you.
Which is a Zelda thing to do.
Yeah, which is also a Zelda thing to do, but in Zelda, outside of like Zelda 2, there's no numbers, so you're not leveling up anything or anything like that. Because like in the menu, there's like a nondescript red meter around your weapon. And then like at some point during a boss, I got interrupted with a message like, you killed enough people with the sword, so it's stronger now, or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know that was there. You know, it just kind of happened. But again,
and it's for all the weapons and all the sub weapons, all that
everything.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, but like none of it is attached to any numbers because again, experience points are nerd shit for dorks, right? This is a real man's game, so like we can't be having
spoilers for the second one. They fall in love with the numbers later.
Oh, you're gonna get your numbers, yeah. But then, but yeah, there's that there's those runes, right, that light up to show what like quote unquote level your thing is, right, at the top, and then like. But don't call them levels. They're runes, okay?
No. Yeah, it feels very half-assy between just being like a Zelda adventure and then just straight up being an RPG. They're trying, as you said, they're trying to split the difference. And I mean, it could be, like the man thing, but also I think maybe they just want the game to feel a little bit more approachable. Because think about it, in 2010, people were still kind of iffy about RPGs in general.
Yep.
Right? Unless they were like Mass Effect or Skyrim. So it's like...
And this was the era of, people like Phil Fish saying what they're saying. There was a lot of Japanese, I don't know if you want to call it xenophobia or just straight up racism, maybe.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, and also I think there's a video I watched about it where I think like the Western devs, especially the RPG devs, always felt they were behind the Japanese ones. So like the one time they pulled ahead, they felt very like, yeah, we got them. And then just like celebrated their win, And it's just like, guys, you're making good games. Just make the good games,
Yeah.
But think about it, as Mass Effect went on, it became less of an RPG.
Oh yeah, they
became more successful. Yeah. So yeah, and Skyrim would
that's
be a
like
year away.
Also, guys, like you had this quote unquote victory because of JRPG. So how about like chill?
It was because like Japan was struggling to catch up to the HD consoles.
I would love to do a series on this show about that era of Japanese development because it is just so weird.
I'm in.
So fucking weird. Of course you're in. That's why I brought it up in front of you.
I mean, I have a bunch of JRPGs for the 360, like the exclusive ones. I've done a whole series on Lost Odyssey. I'd love to talk about Blue Dragon, Infinite Undiscovery, Resonance of Fate, all of those
Infinite Undiscovery is the one that I've never played. I wish they would give that, like, how Resonance of Fate got that, like, repo on PS4? Because I already played it before, but I bought that thing. Yeah. Infinite Undiscovery is the one I really missed out on. That's kind of was like, okay, I need to see what that is.
I've played some of it. It's basically a dry run for Star Ocean 4.
Okay.
That's basically what it like. If you played Star Ocean 4, you've played the better version of Infinite Undiscovery.
The thing is with I always like the gameplay of Star Ocean, but I always hate the characters. So if it's like Star Ocean, but not Star Ocean people, I could probably get into that.
I'd be curious to your take on it.
Yeah. But it's not just the JRPGs. It's the whole like Bionic Commando 2009 and like there's just so much in that era that it's just
and also
weird.
I just think but also at the same time Western RPGs were really catching up and finally becoming popular as well. So it was just kind of that era.
But that's also what's fascinating about Darksiders because there is so much Japanese influence. It's not just Zelda.
Oh yeah,
there is a shit ton of Devil May Cry in here. A ton.
Devil May Cry blended with God of War. It's a little bit of both, I think.
I feel like it's definitely more Devil May Cry to me.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I see both, though.
Not just in gameplay, but presentationally, I think it's very Devil May Cry. Like the demon walls that trap you in a room, like you go in the room and it's like, it's fighting time, right?
Combat arena.
Yeah. The souls, too, like the green souls heal you and the other souls are currency or whatever. That's completely Devil May Cry.
But I think the God of War comes from like the presentation and then like the boss fights and when you can do like the big like kill moves like that's very God of War.
You're right, that is God of War for sure, and I love those moves. We'll get to those in a sec, but but also what's Devil May Cry is like buying new moves. You get this, you get to, oh, hey, now you can do this. They just straight up have the stinger because of course they do.
And one thing I like is that the shop doubles as like a fast travel point. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty cool. That
is interesting. Oh, it's shit. I think halfway through the game, they give you a fucking gun too. Okay, it's not ebony and ivory, but it is a gun.
It's not. No, they give you a gun, which kind of helps a little bit. I don't know.
It's
whatever.
I mean, you can't pull like Devil May Cry juggle combos with it, but I mean, or I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe I didn't fuck around with it too much. But
well, the thing is, like as I had said with the combat, like it's not a character action. It's not Devil May Cry. It's not Bayonetta, but it's like teetering on that. But I think they wanted like the combat to have more weight to it. Because, you know, when you play like DMC3, like the combat doesn't have like weight to it. It's very floaty.
You're supposed,
right?
Yeah, it's supposed to feel like you're this badass. Yeah.
And I think the weight comes from God of War, because when you play those, it's heavy. Mm-hmm. Like it hits hard, like the old ones too. And so I think they're trying to find that as well. So it's like there's not like a million combos to learn or all these crazy juggle things you can do, but it has elements of that to try to make the combat more free flowing than God of War. Like tries to have the free flowing of DMC, but the weight of God of War. And for the most part, I think it works. I do like the combat in here. It's not like super in depth or super technical, but I think that's to the benefit of the game. It allows it to just kind of feel more approachable and feel a little bit more than just a regular hack and slash.
Yeah, and you also feel powerful, you know, and I think that's something, you know, that's something that matters a lot to me, where your character doesn't feel like a piece of shit weakling.
Yeah.
Like, like that is just not something I enjoy. I'm not saying you always have to be, you know, Dante or Bayonetta in every game, but at the same time, it's like you should feel capable of the situation, you know?
Yeah, or like say in an RPG, you start weak and you get strong later.
Right. Or,
you know?
But also Darksiders does like the Metroid thing where like they start you off at full power and then they take all your shit away from you.
I always hate when games do that.
Really? See, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. That's fine. But they give you, when you're depowered, you still feel very capable of the situation. You always do feel like a badass. So that never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like when games give you like rewards for different types of, like, okay, you notice like in the beginning there, like if you slash the guys, you get that one type of soul, the red souls or whatever. But if you do like the finishing move, you get the green souls to heal you. It's not much healing, but if you do it that way, it's like, oh, you can heal yourself if you do this. You know, I like that.
And if you just kill them regularly, you only get a little bit. But if you do the finishing move, you get a bunch.
Right.
You know, so it tries to prioritize like using the combos and landing with finishing moves to get that strong kind of ending, for sure.
Because it feels like there's a lot of Western games of this time that don't really reward you doing this stuff. They're just in the game because it's cool. And you don't really have to do it. It's just something you can do. This game actually incentivizes like doing that other stuff.
Yeah, it feels like some of the game, it was just like combat for the sake of combat because you need it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and this works differently in that sense. But you're right about the combat feel overall. It's definitely not Zelda. That's like very simplistic.
No, it's better than that. I've never liked combat in a Zelda game.
Oh
ever.
Yeah, there's no. I think the only Zelda game where I actually say I like the combat is Zelda 2. It's really it.
Even then, I don't like it, but I'm just not very good at it.
Oh, right. I understand. No, it's
but
hard.
I get tough. It. There's more nuance to it, which is a good thing. But I
love Zelda, but I'm not there for the sword swinging.
I've rage quitted that game so many times.
But how do I say it? Yeah, I just think it hits that middle ground. It's not Bayonetta, it's not Zelda. It wants to be a bit simplistic for people who don't really play Devil May Cry type of games.
Yeah. It feels more like an entry level type of action game. Like I wouldn't be surprised somebody like played Darksiders and then maybe moved on to Bayonetta, feeling like, oh, it's like that, but it's a little bit more involved. Right. Or even gotten to Devil May Cry, you know?
Because like Kevin is terrible at Bayonetta. It pisses him off. He's just not good at that type of game, you know. And not everyone is. It's a lot. It is a lot. And
I don't think I'm great at them, but I can beat them.
Right, but like if like I play, and I've said to him plenty of times, dude, just play an easy and it'll auto combo for you. You see all this cool shit, and he doesn't want to do that. So it's just like, okay, like, man.
Really,
whatever.
The way to play Bayonetta is just pick like the 3 or 4 combos you're comfortable doing and just do those over and over again until you beat the game.
And buy some different moves. If you don't like the move or it doesn't jive with the way you're playing, then don't use it. Or just but you don't know until you buy it, right? So just try them all and see.
And don't give a shit about the score. Don't worry about them penalizing you for using health, which I've never liked.
Oh, I don't.
Don't worry
about
that
shit.
They get rid of it after that. So just don't play 2. 2's the better one.
I like the first one more.
They're both great, but I've always
two.
preferred 2. I've always preferred 2.
I love. Here's the thing, though. Bayonetta 2 is like an A. It's just that the first one is like A plus 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 for me. You know,
That's
it's
fair.
like my favorite. It's like my favorite game of that type ever.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
it's just, I think what I love about 2 is that once it hits the gas, it just goes. There's no downtime. Whereas Bayonetta 1 has its downtime moments.
for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
which I'm sure people prefer the pacing of that. But 2, I always say is like one of the most exhilarating experiences I've ever had.
100%.
Like it just fucking goes, and I love it.
So fucking good. Oh,
I love
my
it to
God,
death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to play that. I have not done a hard mode run of Bayonetta
I wish they
2.
would. I wish they would port it, but it's never going to happen.
Oh, it's never happening.
I
That's a
know.
Nintendo game.
I just want to play it on a more powerful system. Damn it.
I mean, the fact that we got a Switch port in the first place. I mean, because the frame rate on Wii U was a suggestion, not a lock. So like the fact
and on
that
Switch it plays just fine. I had no issues with it.
One more thing that was a weird also nod to Japanese games is that there's a Panzer Dragoon segment.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when you get on. Yeah, it's like you get on the dragon and fly, and then we're flying, and I'm like, this is just fucking Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah.
It's the exact same where it's like you can mash the button or you can hold it to charge and auto aim everything, and I loved it. I was like, this is great because I like Panzer Dragoon, so I was happy. And what pissed me off, it only happened one time.
Yeah, that was it.
It's just that one little segment, and then afterwards, I was hoping it would come back, especially because there's an achievement for taking out enough enemies, and I was like this close to it, and I didn't finish it out. So I was just hoping it would come back so I could just get it, and I never did. So I still don't have it, and I'm like, come on, guys.
This game did give me a shit ton of trophies. It sure did. I wasn't necessarily trying for them, but yeah, they were pouring them on. I
try to get when I play games, I try to get at least 50% of the achievements, and I got 50% no problem. I did a little bit of hunting near the end, but it wasn't anything. It was just cleaning up things that I hadn't done yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't often see like developers that are not Japanese make a whole bunch of nods to this kind of stuff. I mean, there's like I said, like there's a lot of DMC in here, Panzer Dragoon, obviously Zelda, particularly Twilight Princess Zelda. I feel like that's what Darksiders takes after the most.
Yeah, because of the dark imagery and everything. I mean, you don't turn into a wolf, but you do get a bone horse.
I wish you did. That would be fucking cool.
But you get a bone horse. I like the bone horse.
The bone horse. That was a lot of fun.
But do you think this is like 2010 is around the time where like the opinion on Japanese games, it's not like it is now, but do you think 2010 is when it was starting to change? Like that shift to where people were liking them again, like it was slowly starting?
Yes. I feel like as we get into like very late PS3, early PS4 era, I feel like that's when things are starting to finally, people are stopped having those shitty opinions about stuff. Because
it's like, guys, you can like both.
Yeah. Well, obviously I grew up in a time where Japan was video games.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like for that had to happen in the 2000s was just very, very weird to me. And again, some of it deserved because a lot of Japanese companies around that time were just like a lot of weird stuff happened, you know. And I was talking about this with someone recently. We don't talk enough, honestly, about the 2000s and like all the mergers, Square Enix, Koei Tecmo, Namco Bandai. Like what is happening? What the fuck is happening? You know?
Fine time.
I really find it refreshing in Darksiders that, like, again, going back to like the macho hardcore, you know, like visuals of this. I love that something like that looks like this game would let you do something as silly as like Zelda boomerang puzzles. You know, like
where you have to like take the bombs and make a line of bombs so you can set them up to where they all light on fire to blow up the thing to progress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like that's something they wouldn't, if they saw that in Twilight Princess, they wouldn't be caught dead doing that, right? And now, but it's now that it's Darksiders, it's like, oh, this is cool, right?
And it's like, it's like a type of macho that like nowadays when we get macho games, it's Call of Duty, it's Battlefield, it's like, military industrial complex macho. We don't get like fantasy macho like this anymore.
No,
it just doesn't exist.
This is a certain brand of macho.
Yeah, and I welcome it. I kind of
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I like it. I hope Darksiders 4 doesn't lose this, But then like all the, we talked about earlier how I don't think a whole lot of stuff is like Zelda. I have to admit, man, it's not just the structure of the game that you also have. They're not called pieces of heart, but they're pieces of heart.
Yeah.
Right. And the dungeon design, especially and then you have all the audio cues too. You have like discovery jingles. Yeah. It's like, oh, you did a thing, right? That's what Zelda's famous for. And, you have that again. Like I said, you have the boomerang. You get a fucking hook shot near the end of the game.
Yeah. And it's awesome.
It's awesome. And then you get like dungeon keys, right? But they're not regular dungeon keys. They're like badass dungeon keys that you stick in the eyeball of like the key and you twist it and blood comes out.
Yeah. They're like these massive honkers. Yeah. Or no, it's the blade. They're not keys. They're little swords.
Yeah, exactly. And then the door opens and it's like, okay, you can't have a regular door. You must have the badass door with blood and guts.
And it's awesome.
I love it. Good. It's great. It's great. Do you want to? Do you actually want to talk about like those crazy finishing moves and stuff? Since we were talking about combat, because it's like,
again, it's very God of War. Like if you played like God of War 2 on PS2, it just kind of looks almost exactly like that, and it's great.
I really enjoyed. Well, I loved all the boss ones, of course. The way you finish off the bosses,
because the boss designs are very God of War. It's always these like massive giant thing, but not like Shadow of the Colossus massive. But it's more of like a God of War kind of like, oh, big thing. How do you figure it out? It's almost slightly puzzly. Like the one I remember is when you fight the giant sandworm.
Oh yeah,
that fucking bitch. Because you have the horse by then, and you're having to like run away from it, but also shoot it with your gun in the eye.
Was legit my favorite part of the game.
It was my favorite boss for sure.
Loved that shit. That was so cool.
Yeah, because playing it, I was like, I haven't done a boss like this in like 15 years.
That was
this is great.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And they were doing like nice cinematic camera angles, which I think a lot of games don't do very well anymore.
Yeah.
And just like striking an angle where it's like gameplay, but you're not just watching it, you're really playing this thing. It's so great, man.
It was so much fun.
Oh yeah. I loved God, I'm just thinking, what was my favorite one? I think it was Tiamat, where you like rip off its wings or something like that.
Oh,
or
yeah, that was great.
That shit was great.
Yeah, really, the only boss I didn't like was the last one.
It was weird. It was not a great last boss.
It felt like a mid game boss. It didn't have that epicness that it needed.
At least it was unique from the other bosses, but like,
sure,
it wasn't like. Because you've played a game like that before too, right? Where it's like the last boss is just kind of a variation of something you did before, and it's like, well, that kind of sucks. That's something I already did, So at least it was unique, but it also wasn't great. It was one of the definitely the weakest, maybe the weakest boss. I don't know if it was the weakest.
I
you
thought
think
it was
so?
The weakest. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't think of another boss that I found nearly as disappointing as this one.
So look, that doesn't like ruin the game for me or anything, but it definitely was like, okay, that wasn't very, especially because the build up to it was fucking amazing in my opinion. Because I love that last dungeon where you have to have the 3 beams of light to like free what's his name, and you have to like go set up the light and then backtrack that light all the way back the way through the dungeon and set it. I loved all that shit.
It was good, but I think elements of it became a bit too much. I don't know. It's kind of where I get into my criticism, where I think like the back half like really emphasizes backtracking, and especially that like fetch quest right at the end of the game, which I was like, do we really need to do this now?
It was so painless. It was so easy to do.
I just don't care for that kind of stuff.
I understand.
It feels like forced backtracking. In a way.
Sure, it was a bit of you know why? Because it wasn't really stuff that you could find along the way until you had the powers to get it, Yeah,
but even still, I found it a little tedious, I guess.
I agree.
And some of the dungeons and some of the puzzles also felt a little tedious as well. Like the one where you have to trace the 3, like that took me so long. But also my big issue with the game it doesn't do a good job of telling you where to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just like maybe a little indicator on my map to be like, go over here and do the thing. Never did that.
No.
So there were so many times I would just run around and be like, oh, I need to go the complete other direction. You know, and I always had to have a walkthrough on standby just to be sure I was still on track, which is annoying. I will say Darksiders 2 does rectify that, thank God.
They
but
probably
it was just
rectify it a little too much for my for my taste, but
I
we'll
could
get
see
there
you
later.
saying that, yeah, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But and and also like the map system just wasn't the best in the world. Like it's nice that it's there.
I couldn't zoom in. Could you zoom in?
Nope.
Okay, I thought I was stupid and I couldn't figure out how to zoom in.
Nope. Couldn't figure it out either.
Yeah,
and
I was like, okay, this dungeon is huge. I wish I could like really see where I am, but no, I guess I can't.
And the way you like equip gear and keep track of all that stuff is like, again, it's just has these great. Like tedious little bits in there that just kind of bring it down for me a little bit, which is a shame because again, the core of it is really good, but also it reminds me of why I'm really not the biggest Zelda fan. And that's usually by the back half of the game. It's just kind of like, okay, I get like, also, I think the game's a little too long, like not ridiculously too long. Like it's about, I think I put like maybe 15 hours into it. And I'm like, you could have trimmed maybe 3 to 5 out of it. And I think it would have been a tighter experience, but it doesn't completely overstay its welcome. Just at certain points, I'm like, you can cut that.
I don't totally disagree with that notion. However, it's hard for me to think of anything in this game that could be cut. I don't think anything from the second half should be cut. That's for sure.
The only thing I would say needs to be cut is you could just get rid of that fetch quest at the end of the game.
Probably. It didn't do a whole lot narratively or, you know, that's actually one thing I want to talk about. Cause you know, like we talked about, the story is very simple and there are cutscenes and they're brief and they keep shit moving.
Yes.
And they're not sitting there yapping at you forever about stuff that you don't care about. Because trust me, in Darksiders, you really don't care. You really don't care.
Which is a shame because it has like some well-known voice acting in the game. Like there's like Liam O'Brien's in it. Troy Baker is in it. Phil Lamar is in it. Fucking Mark Hamill is the guy that like is your Navi. Fucking Mark Hamill, you know? Like there's some like notable talent throughout here. And I'm sure some people probably really like the lore and the story, but we're not here for that.
No, I'm not here for that shit at all. So, you know, but they kept it moving and it was like they were amusing. They were well directed. And I think that's like a problem people don't really talk about when it comes to like, especially games from this era. And the reason why I hated all the cinematic bullshit is because the cinematics were so fucking bad. Like they were directed like shit. They were like the worst movies you had ever seen. These are directed wonderfully.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I love the camera angles and like the pacing of it and everything. Yeah.
Like I've always liked to say like the Gears of War cutscenes and story. But again, I think that stuff is done because they know it's like a cheesy action movie. Mm-hmm. Like that they know that, but it has a little bit of heart to it, you know? But but again, it's not the core. They know that. They know it's like there are bits there that people care about, but they just care about the gameplay. You know, I think the problem is when there are certain games that try to think that, oh, you're here for the story. And it's like, no, we're here for the gameplay.
Yeah. Shut up and let me play.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that's where I'm over the course of this conversation. I think that's where you and I differ. This is why I liked it more than you, I think, is because I think that puzzle stuff and like the map design and whatever, I think I enjoyed that much more than you. I didn't really get lost, and I really enjoyed the way also, I just love the general like atmosphere of the game. I loved ruined city apocalyptic bullshit myself.
I liked it.
I
wish there was a little bit more variety to it though. But that's not like a major criticism or anything.
I can't get personally, I can't get tired of that motif. That's why, like, when I was a teenager, like, I thought Twisted Metal was like the best thing ever, right? Because it's like, here are these ruined cities and fucked up here's LA looking like destroyed. I love that shit. Like, oh, by the way, like, was Darksiders supposed to be in a particular Earth city? It just looked like generic city that was ruined, but
it looked like Los York Chicago City.
Yeah,
Alice.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I was
Who
like,
cares?
This part kind of looks like LA, but I think everything looks like
It might as well be New Donk City for all I care.
it could be. Yes, ruin New Donk City.
To see like Pauline and like this, like the run like subway track stuff, you know? Yeah.
It's Metropolis or something.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, I think you're more of a Zelda guy than I am. Like, I'm not the biggest Zelda. Like, my favorite Zelda is Wind Waker, and that's because I can sail around and do pirate shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, but like for the most part, the Zelda formula, like, it works, but it's never been my favorite thing in the world. And
Okay.
Darksiders, it doesn't. I mean, it's still that same formula. When I play, I'm like, yeah, I like it fine. But again, I think some of the puzzles kind of got a little obtuse for me, and just some of the backtracking was just a little bit. Was for me like just not my favorite thing in the world. But when it's like I'm just moving and it's like I know where I'm going, it's great.
Okay.
You know,
I really just enjoyed. I thought the puzzles in the game were just the right amount of brain teaser. They weren't like too.
I would say 90% of them. There was a couple I didn't like at all.
Well, of course, like because like they're not always going to get it right. Like there was a couple where it's like, okay, I don't really understand what to do here. Okay, I get it. But for the most part, it was like. I thought they were really great, and it just kept the flow of the game. It's like keeping you doing these things, you know.
Like when you were talking about like the light puzzle, like some sections of those light puzzles, hated them. Some of them I thought were great. Like there's the one where you're in the room and it's just like a bottomless pit, and you have to like, you know, organize the mirrors or whatever, and you have the like it's like almost like a square, just like the platform's constantly moving, and I just. For the longest time could not figure out that rhythm. And even when I looked it up and saw somebody do it, I still couldn't fucking get the rhythm down.
Yeah, because it's not a matter of even if you know what to do, it's still a matter of doing it.
Exactly.
You know?
And
it's
it just
tough. Yeah.
It got past the point of like just me being bad to where I'm just getting frustrated with it.
I understand.
And I'm just like, because the rest of it was fine after that.
I really enjoyed that part though. You know, like so I like stuff like
and
that.
I like puzzles. I'm a puzzle freak, so it's just when I get frustrated, then I'm just like, fuck this.
But I liked all the stuff. It's like you said earlier about chaining the bombs to explode this stuff to open this, or just like all that stuff, all the push block puzzles. I thought all that stuff was so fun. I really did.
What I did appreciate about the puzzles is they didn't do that thing where it was starting in this era, but it became more of a thing now where like you look at a puzzle for more than like 2.96 seconds and then somebody yells at you like, here's how you solve the puzzle. Like, don't like, let me figure it out, please.
I appreciate in this era of massive hand holding. That's another reason why I don't like this era of like telling the player, assuming the player is so stupid that they have no idea what they're doing or have ever played a video game before. I really appreciate Darksiders for not doing that. They really just let you figure it the fuck out. And I love that for it.
Because the fun of a puzzle is not the solution, it's the act of solving it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and then and something like, I know you haven't played the Uncharted's, but that's kind of an issue.
I played them all.
Okay, but that's kind of an issue the Uncharted's have, where it's like after a while, Nathan goes, what if I do this thing into that thing? And it's like, don't tell me. I'm figuring it out, asshole.
They want you to be completely smooth brain when
I know,
you play
and
those
I hate
games.
that.
And it is just... Well, that's why my favorite one was Lost Legacy, just because I actually just got to roam around and do stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I could see why you'd like that one. And also the character development between the two main leads is so good.
Yeah, that's actually that's the stuff because Nathan Drake, fuck off. Like I really enjoyed the two ladies basically just yapping it up.
They're great. Yeah, I just want to give me Sully. I want a Sully prequel.
I love that they were calling each other like otherwise like sort of male coded insults like dickhead and asshole and stuff. It was really funny. Yeah. Like you don't often call a woman a dickhead, right? So it's like it's funny, you know.
Yeah. It's just a shame that Uncharted is dead because I feel like it stopped at a real interesting point where it could have went a bunch of different directions, like new directions, and they just went, we're gonna talk about zombies now.
Yeah, forever.
Gross.
You absolutely. You were correct, though. I also have the same criticism about the gear and equipment. The way you have to equip stuff really kind of sucks just because you have like 6 things for like 4 slots. And invariably you're going to need those things. You don't know which things you're going to need when you're in whatever room. So it's like, okay, like, come on. Like, I get it. That's something Zelda also does. Here are the 3 things you have on your palette, but it's like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I get it. Like, I'm the one who always talks about button economy. I really like Horizon games, for instance. I hate how many buttons they make you press for like obscure actions. And it's like, you could have just mapped all this stuff to X. When you're next to it, press X and it happens, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Darksiders could have actually used a couple of things like, okay, the hook shot is just on R1 or whatever, or or something like that, right? Like, they could have just
a couple buttons you like barely use in this game.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, the horn, right? Dun, da, 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 and then those guys wake up or whatever. You don't really use that.
You
horn.
only use that in like the opening couple bits, and then that's it.
Yeah,
you never use it again.
I think you can use it on some enemies to like bop them back, but it doesn't really do anything.
I never bothered using it for that.
Yeah, I don't
because I have big sword.
Yeah,
big
you
sword
have big
kill
sword.
enemy. What do
and
I
you
need
do big slice
for?
Yeah, and you do big decapitation.
Exactly. So, yeah. Just some it's just you don't want an action game to turn to a menu game. And it kind of borders on that. Because even in Zelda, when you have to swap stuff, it's not that bad.
No.
It's just like, oh, make this button that thing. Okay. And then we're back in it, you know? Whereas this game, it's like you have to look in and be like, okay, it's like when you hold this button, then you get the little wheel of like, oh, the face buttons do this now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to like readjust that.
Well, also, like, you know, stuff like Link's Awakening was made when we had 2 fucking buttons, you know what I mean? So like, you had to pause the game and like,
and Link's Awakening really suffers from that, in my opinion, the original, from just like constantly having to be like, okay, this thing does that, come back. Like, the Switch version fixes some of that, but not all of it.
It's just the way the game is designed, man. But also back then, like, getting into a menu and swapping stuff didn't really take any time. Now with like all this massive loading, not on this new, you know, PS4 Xbone version we played, but like, you know, sometimes back then, like doing menu stuff like that took a while because you had to load the fucking menu because things were getting so slow. So, but like back then you could just kind of beep boop, you know, I get it. You have to do a lot of menuing, but like at least it was fast. Now it's not fast anymore. So it's like, it was really annoying in this game. But it didn't ruin it. Honestly, outside of that, I don't think I think I'm Darksiders out. I think I said all the things I have to say.
I was looking to see if there was any major differences between the original and the remaster. And as far as I could tell, it looks better. It runs at 60. They added a couple weapons. That's it.
Yeah.
a very
60 was the thing I wanted.
Yeah, it's just a very minor remaster as far as just like, we put it on the new platforms, it looks and runs better, here's some fun extra stuff, no big deal. And
yeah,
that's fine. Yeah.
But I think I agree with you. Also, I wanted to say about like the desert part being like a literal oasis from like all the buildings and all the
it was
dark,
my favorite
like,
area in the game. Actually, that was
one
I liked, doing the puzzles and the combat, and you know, and then the horsey stuff, because you know you can also do horsey combat.
Yes, horsey combat, always fun. Look, I'm a Dynasty Warriors freak. I love horsey combat. So
the moment I saw Dynasty Warriors 3 remastered, I'm like, oh, I know what you're buying.
I lost my fucking mind. I was.
Is that like, a fan favorite?
I think it's my favorite of the PS2 ones.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
I really like Dynasty Warriors 7, though.
Okay.
On like 360.
See, I keep flirting with the idea of actually playing one of these, but there's like 9 million of them, and I don't know which one to pick.
Just play Dynasty Warriors Origins, man.
Okay.
Just play it. I promise.
When it's cheap enough, I'll buy it.
It's the rare one where it's like, it's trying to get new people in, but also doesn't like piss off hardcores like me who have been playing all these. It actually satisfies both people. Okay. Believe it or not. It's
when it's cheap enough, I will buy it.
You will. I'm
just waiting for the right price.
I'm not saying it'll be your favorite game ever or anything, but you will like it. I pretty much guarantee it. Yeah. Other shit. I think I'm good on the Darksiders.
Yeah,
you got anything else? Pretty good fucking game.
Yeah, a fun game. While it did kind of in the back half, I kind of lost some of my enjoyment of it. I think overall it was a really solid game. I had a great time playing it. It's definitely a game I would have had a deep love for had I played it when it was new.
Okay.
You know, because it would have been one of those kind of games for me. But overall, it was great. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to where we're going with the rest of these. And if we're going to do the letter grades, I'd give it somewhere a B minus feels right.
Okay, I'm going B plus.
Okay,
I'm going B plus. I'm the opposite of you. I liked it more in the second half. I think when we got to the desert, and then after that, I liked the game much more than like what I did before. So
Fair enough.
I'm kind of opposite there. But yeah, I give it a B plus. Really, really good stuff.
Oh yeah.
As of this recording, full disclosure, we have dabbled in some Darksiders 2, but we have not completed it yet. So we will get there.
I have other obligations. That's why I haven't gotten as far in it as I would like to. And because I guess a little ahead of Darksiders 2, I'm really enjoying what I'm playing, and I don't want to rush through it because it's a bit of a longer game.
Yeah.
So I want to like experience it, and I'm having a great time with 2. Kind of more than 1, actually.
A lot of people feel that way, so I wonder if I'm going to feel that way too. We will see. It's definitely a very different game, but we will get there hopefully next week.
In some ways, very different, but in other ways, very similar.
Yes, but there are some. I feel like, I guess what I'm going to say is I feel like we're going to come into Darksiders 2 talking a lot about the differences between it and the first one, because I think there is a lot of significant ones that are very interesting. But hopefully next week you will hear us talk about that. But until then, thanks for joining me. You want to talk about Thrak Ops real quick before you leave?
I haven't talked about Thrak Ops on here.
Talk about it.
So, so I have a new solo podcast. Well, I have a couple guests lined up for it called Call of Duty Thrak Ops, where I decided, you know what? People don't talk about shooty bang bang. I want to do it, man. So, like genuinely in our little Superpod network, I noticed there was a bit of a gap and just kind of in shooter games in general. And I've always liked them, right? So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just talk about all the Call of Duties? They're cheap games to get. They're quick campaigns, right? So I can kind of knock them out at a decent rate, and we'll see what happens. And then when I pitched the idea around, everyone seemed like, yeah, cool idea, man. And so at the time of recording this, Thrak Ops 5 should be out. So I'm 5 episodes in, stopped at Call of Duty 3. So, and I'm going to take a bit of a break before I get back and do for Modern Warfare. I have some special plans for that one because it's a big game in the series.
Did you make as many big red one jokes as I hoped you did?
Well, you got to listen and find out.
Okay,
I did.
Good incentive.
Big Red 1 is out. That's Thrak Ops 4, so you can go listen to that. My favorite part is making the covers for them, where I just take the cover of the game and just slap my face on it. It's always kind of haphazard, but I like that it's haphazard. That it just
it is funny.
Rough. Yeah.
When I had when I did earlier this year, when I did me and Matt Stormageddon, we did the Devil May Cry PS2 trilogy.
Love
I
that
slapped
episode.
Dante from Devil May Cry. I slapped the sticker on our Fine Time artwork, and I did it myself because it looked crappy. I didn't want to have Ven do it because it would look too good. I wanted to do it because it looked like shit, you know?
Yeah. And I love it's like my PFP is like a cozy Twitch streamer drew my face. So it completely doesn't fit at all, you know?
I love it.
Shout out to Lucy Liu. Love you. But yeah, it's a great series. I've been having a good time with it. And yeah, the response has been solid. It hasn't blown up yet, but I'm not at like the super popular games. So I think it will increase as we go. But I don't think any of the Fine Time crew are going to join me, unfortunately.
I don't know shit about Call of Duty, man.
I mean, I'd love to have you on, but it's fine.
On our previous creative endeavor, I did play Modern Warfare 2 Remastered just because it was the Rona and I was so bored and I didn't have anything else to do. So I played it. I did not like that very much. So
that's fair. That's fair. So,
it was, it had, I understand the appeal though. I get why people like these, but that is just not something I'm into.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
It is all
good.
But
I'll listen to you yap about them. So yeah, definitely check out Thrak Ops. I will link that in the description here. Also, the 3DO podcast you do with Bill. I will link all that stuff in the description of this podcast. We'll see you next week to talk about Darksiders 2. But until then, bye.
We'll catch you next time. This has been Fine